Cool. So yeah, thanks for hopping on early. I know it's really early in the morning. Normally at this time we'd be at the office, by the way. So it's actually, I kind of get to sleep in to, yeah, because we kind of get things rolling like 7:38 every morning. So this is great.
I am definitely not ready for the real world then.
That's called the big kid job, right? Sleeping in every day during quarantine is fun too.
Yeah.
So kind of the purpose of our meeting, just to kind of give you a framework of what we're going to talk about today. First thing I want to do is spend a little bit of time getting to know you, and kind of like what your aspirations are, just some of your background. Training happened really fast, and I feel like we didn't really get time to talk, especially since I wasn't able to run your second or third days of training. So definitely want to kind of get to know you a little bit more in depth. And then we're going to talk a little bit about your resources and your results so far on the job, and kind of see how you're feeling about it. And then we'll talk a little bit about your goals and your schedule. Okay. Now today you're going to have, we have Champions Club right after this, and then we have advanced training. So you're going to learn a lot of the technical skills. And, selling Cutco is not hard. It's just, learning. There's a learning curve for sure. But I am going to mainly today really help you with the mental aspect of things. That way you can really set yourself up nicely, not just for your first 10 days, but really the rest of your time you're working with us, whether that's, beyond your fast start as an assistant manager or the summer or as a branch manager or whatever. And I'll kind of talk about some of those things as well. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Give me like the rundown on you. By the way, First of all, love the hoodie. Go Tigers, MIZ all the way.
Yeah. So my dad actually lives in Missouri. So this isn't the same room I was in during training. So I was with my dad. And so I'm like a KU Mizzou, like it's like half and half. I actually found this
divided household
sweatshirt at a thrift store, and it's like a quadruple XL, and I love it. It's so comfy. But so I went to Shawnee Mission South.
Okay.
Graduated that semester, and
so you graduated this past semester?
Yeah. Cool. So I graduated in December, and I'm taking classes. You kind of
beat the whole Corona wave, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? Everyone's so sad right now about like missing like the end of school, and I'm like, well, sorry. But yeah, so I am taking a few classes this semester at Johnson County, and I have multiple siblings. Barely any of them are blood related, but like it's fine. I count them all as like equal,
Yeah. And you said your dad lives in Missouri, and your mom lives in Kansas?
Yeah, so my mom lives in Lenexa, and my dad lives in Raytown, Missouri.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I have 3 dogs.
Nice.
I played volleyball, basketball, softball, and cheerleading during my high school career. Well, I did track.
Super sped athlete. That's awesome.
My whole family is insanely athletic, so I have to.
So what kind of jobs have you had in the past, by the way?
So my mom owns a volleyball club, and so I've coached volleyball, like a volleyball team, for the last 3 years.
Gotcha.
It's actually on pause right now because of everything, but I'm coaching a 14-year-old team.
Okay.
And then I am a waitress at Johnny's.
Okay.
But that's also closed right now. So.
Yeah. What's great, I definitely, it's exciting here that you've been coaching and you're in a leadership position, because I can sense that just with the confidence that you bring. I can tell that you're kind of used to this kind of, being confident in yourself situation. So that's great. So you graduated this semester, and you didn't move directly into college classes, or you did?
I did.
Okay, so you're taking 1 or 2 online classes right now?
Yeah, so I'm taking 4 actually.
4, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, cool. And how's that been going?
Good. I definitely miss, good morning.
Hey, Kendall. Kendall's gonna be hopping on joining us.
Okay. I definitely miss being able to go to class.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of online, but I totally understand why we transitioned.
For sure. I mean, it definitely does teach you how to manage your time a little bit better. And then what are you studying, and what do you want to do? What's your career aspirations?
So I'm majoring in psychology / pre-med, and then I'm going to med school, and I want to be a psychiatrist, and I want to use that to start a nonprofit organization for survivors of sex crimes. So that's like
Wow.
dream job.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you see so right now you're taking online classes at Johnson County or?
Right, Johnson County, and I'm going to Arkansas in the fall.
Arkansas. Okay, cool. Cool stuff. Let's see here. Was it Sean recommended you, right?
Yeah.
And how do you guys know each other?
We met like at a church camp, Youth Front. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the summer going into 8th grade.
Okay,
and then like we've just been friends since then. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I'm glad it worked out where he was able to refer you to the job. He's doing great. Today is actually the last day of his fast start.
Oh my goodness. What's he at?
He's at 8,200.
Ooh.
So he's trying to get to 10K. He's got 6 demos lined up. And I've just been like, I'll kind of share with you what it's like if you're working with me and going after 10K. We'll get to that towards the end of our conversation, but I've been on him. He's super motivated, super competitive. He really wanted it really bad because he really wants to be an assistant manager as well. And so he's working really hard, but we're at it's the 4th quarter and there's 5 minutes to go. And it's it's crunch time today. So he's nervous. I mean, I'm not nervous. I'm super confident. I know he can do it, but it's the last day. Anything can happen. So, well, that's cool. Thanks for sharing all that with me. That'll definitely help me. By the way, did you take the CVI score? I think I remember you texting.
Yeah, I definitely merchant something, I think.
Merchant, yeah, that makes sense.
Merchant innovator.
Merchant innovator, okay.
Yeah.
Did you read the little assessment thing, or did you watch that little video that kind of explained what it was?
I kind of read the summary of it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. So let's dive in. First things first. So you have done how many demos so far total? If I look at your sheet here.
11? 12? No, definitely more than that. 4
no-sells, and you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cells. So is that 14? Or did you have some schedules? 14. Okay. Okay, great. So 10 for 14. It's a really good ratio. And that, that's a really, whenever somebody's doing almost 15 demos their first weekend, that really demonstrates to me that they've got a really great work ethic. So that's awesome. Your closing ratio, I want you to write this down, it's 71%. How do you feel about your appointments so far? What's been your favorite part of the job so far?
Well, I can tell you my least favorite is when you ask, so would you like to try this one out today? And then it's just silent. And
a little out of your comfort zone. Right?
I'm just oh. I don't know. I just really like talking to people, especially since we've been on quarantine. This is a really good opportunity for me to connect.
It seems like you're pretty social, so
I am very.
So it's good that you've been able to connect with people and chat with people and whatnot and utilize that. So that's good. Yeah, asking for the order, it's not a natural thing, but almost it kind of is. It's just in a different context. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and she literally is the most persistent person I've ever met in my entire life. And she's 3 and she's doing this now, and she's going to add more finesse and personality to it as she gets older. And I'm sure you've done this with your parents, where you can get what you want maybe from them by asking in certain ways. So you want to think of it that way. You're right now, you're asking from the order in a very stock reading the manual way, right?
Right.
And once you really develop your confidence and your own style, you'll get more and more comfortable. But clearly it's working, because I got to imagine you've got some people that you didn't think would buy, but had you not asked that question.
Oh, yeah. I really have been surprised by a few people.
Yeah. Did your parents have Cutco before you started, or no?
My mom does. She has the homemaker.
Gotcha.
+8.
Okay.
Since I was a little baby.
That's awesome. Cool. Awesome. Well, that's really good. So 10 for 14 is your ratio right now. And then as far as your actual, let's see, I'm going to give you your average order size. I want you to write this down. So you're at 3393 CPO. Well, actually, you've had 11 orders. You're 11 for 14. So have you had 3 no-sells or 4?
4.
Okay, and did you enter in an order twice, or did you have like somebody that?
Oh, yeah. So one of them, Shelly, ordered 2 orders, one for
That
her
makes
mom
sense.
and then one for
Okay, that
herself.
makes
Yeah.
sense. So really, technically, it's 10 for 14. Then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so 33.93, and then we'll divide that by, we'll call it 10 orders, really. So your average order is 339, which is really good. So these stats that you're bringing in are above company average. Okay, company average closing ratio is usually 60% ish. Okay, 50 to 60%, and then national closing ratio or national average order. So closing ratio is 50 to 60%. Average order is about $250 or so, and you're almost $100 ahead of that. So you're like, you're really doing great. Now, if we run these stats out, let's pause this. We'll circle back to this. Let's talk a little bit about your resources really quick. So I'm seeing here in the Q app that you have, I know you initially put 150 contacts in there, which is really good. And again, selling Cutco is not hard, but the best reps in this job are people who are really great at prospecting. And so, let's see here. Okay. So obviously you've been phoning through and, a little bit of the list is chopped down, but you still have, almost 130 contacts in there, which is fantastic. Where did you get most of those contacts from?
My mom and my dad mostly, and then like my family. So I have like a really big family, lots of aunts and uncles, stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly my parents' phones.
So have you gone through, did you like go through their phones?
I went through my dad's phone, and my mom has been like sending me contacts.
Great. So here's what I would do. This is kind of like an assignment to really help you take it to the next level, because you just generally never want to have less than 150 contacts at any time to really be a top rep. What you want to do is you want to, next time you see your mom, you want to get the phone from her and go through it yourself. And because your mom is generally just going to feed you people that she thinks are going to buy, because she wants to help you out. And so what I would do is I would you want to kind of, help her be a little bit more open-minded, but also you want to just do the work for her. Because at the end of the day, it's really your job to be, prospecting, not necessarily hers. But I would try to get her phone and go through it. Also, do either one of your parents have social media?
Yes.
Okay. So I would get on their like Facebook or whatever, go to their contacts and scan through there, because it's literally like the mother lode. Do you know, can you look, seriously, your mom has Facebook, right?
My dad does.
Dad. Go to your dad's Facebook really quick on your computer.
Okay. Can I do it on my computer?
What'd you say?
Is Facebook on computer?
Yeah. I know. Okay. It's what's your favorite social media these days? Do you use Instagram or do you use Snap? Are you a TikToker?
I'm not a TikToker, I promise. I watch them for sure. I think they're hilarious, but
I can tell you really quick here. What is your hold on one second. Tell me what your dad's name is.
Steve Shelton. Oh, why is my sister logged into this? I can hack.
You don't use Facebook that much?
No.
Hey, buddy. Real quick, could you put me and Zeta in a breakout room?
Sure thing, boss.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's up, Zeta?
Morning.
Good morning. All right. Give me 1 second here. Manually create breakout. I'm gonna actually create, yeah. All right. I'm gonna assign Kendall Zeta. There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so you said Steve Shelton?
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure I have the right one. Did you find him on yours?
Yes, I did.
Do you see his, scroll down to his contacts, it'll say how many like friends he has?
He has 1,063 friends.
It's the daddy load, actually. It's not the mother load, it's the daddy load. So like with parents, again, 1,000 friends in the parent world, that means your dad's super popular. Okay. And these are people, by the way, the thing about your parents' contacts is these are contacts that span over the last 40 years,
Right.
you know? And so what I would do is I would sift through that, and that'll really help you add more. And then you can get the numbers from him. Right. And the thing is, it's like, he probably has, old family friends, your mom's friends are probably in there too. Like it's literally a wide range of like basically his whole network,
Yeah.
And so I think you could definitely expand what you currently have up to over 200. Okay. And then another thing is it's great that you are, coaching and you are involved, because that means every parent basically knows you in your community, right? In your network. So I would really utilize that. Have you seen any of your, students' parents?
I've talked to one.
Okay.
But
so I would
not the
really
other ones yet.
expand that list. I don't know if you have any of those in your contacts or not, but I would start building that one too, because not only are they going to love you more just from like making that connection, but it's going to be great. They're going to miss you. It's great because when you're building rapport, you get to chat with their kid on the demo too. It's just going to be like, it's amazing. Right now, my kids, they're preschool teachers. They've been Zooming like every few days, and it's like, it literally is a highlight of their day. And so I think that would be great. And then, using Cutco as a way to kind of do that and reestablish that relationship and continue that connection is great. So how many students would you say you've coached over the last, 2 years?
So this is my third year. So I want to say 30.
Okay. And
Yeah.
this is like, so you do like small group coaching or individual or like classes?
Well, so it's volleyball. I'm a volleyball coach.
Okay. So team, sorry. Never, that's what I meant to say.
So it's like a team.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 30 right there. And I don't know if any of them are already on your contact list, but I would definitely try to expand all those. And then also a lot of the kids that you played all the sports with, you've been on multiple different rosters, and Shawnee Mission South, you just graduated from it. There's probably 400 seniors in your class, maybe 500, right?
Yeah.
And so how many of your friends from school have you seen their parents so far?
A few.
A few. So we're talking you
I've
400 plus that you could, right? If you wanted to. Now, if you had all their numbers, how many do you think you'd be comfortable doing a presentation for?
all of them.
Great. So then I want you to really be aggressive with that. So my point in doing this exercise with you really quick, and you're going to learn more about this in our champs clubs, and then definitely in advanced training today, Kendall's going to spend some time really expanding your initial names list. But my point in doing all this is I want you to think bigger about your resources. Again, selling Cutco is not hard. I have reps sell $3,000 almost every weekend as a new rep.
Yeah.
The key to being a great rep is having more customers than anyone else. That's really what it comes down to. If you're great at prospecting, you're going to be unstoppable. So in your schedule, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in, this is kind of like the major assignment coming out of this meeting, and that is to spend time prospecting and adding more names to your list. So I'm going to screen share really quick just so we can see your schedule here. And what I want to do, I could put this on the assignments page, but I'm going to actually put it directly. And we talked about dad's Facebook. We talked about
Mom's phone.
Mom's phone. We talked about high school.
Volleyball.
And then volleyball students or volleyball team. And this is like, and then I'll put your volleyball and sorry, it's early. I'm struggling with my typing.
It's okay. I actually never learned how to type. I literally type like this. I'm not kidding. It's so embarrassing.
So the target on all of these, by the way, so we know your dad has 1,000. Your mom probably has a couple hundred contacts in her phone. This right here is 400. This is, 30 at least. This probably overlaps a little bit with the high school friends. But I think I think your real target, you could probably have 1,000 plus contacts in your queue. I mean, that might be intimidating, and you're definitely not going to get it all this week, but I want you to try to get at least 50 more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, if you do that, you're surefire going to set yourself up for a lot of success. And then in your schedule, you want to spend time each week prospecting. Anybody that's in sales, anybody that's in business, again, the number one key to being successful in business is having a lot of customers. And like if you talk to a real estate agent, usually 70% or more of their week is spent prospecting and building their clientele. That's like literally the job is like building clientele. So you want to have that in your schedule as clear as day as you have a demo in your schedule or you have class in your schedule, you want to have building clientele in your schedule as well. And so when we look at this, we'll go like for instance, today, there's going to be a little bit of prospecting towards the end of advanced training. So you'll get to do some of that. You know, you're back to back to back, which is great. But what I do is like maybe tomorrow morning, you don't spend time doing this extra demo. We leave that spot open and you do a little bit of prospecting. And I'm going to call it prospecting, which is defined as the activity is of going through and adding more contacts to the queue. That's basically what prospecting is. Okay. You could realistically go this entire summer without seeing a single referral because your network is big enough where everybody that would be a referral is somebody that you probably could have known anyways. Somebody you probably could have like, you already had the connection to anyways. That's how large your network in reality is. So I'm not saying you don't need referrals, but your referrals you want to stockpile, okay? And obviously get good at it. Another assignment I'm going to give you is I want you to work on memorizing the rec approach. And we'll go over this in advanced training, by the way, and Paige has a great workshop this week that we'll go over on helping you build names on that, okay?
Okay.
All right, so when we look at your schedule, let's go back to your schedule and let's just lastly talk about your goals. And you mentioned to me yesterday thinking about adjusting a little bit and maybe going after a bigger goal. So let's break that down really quick. So right now you have, you're at 3393. So, you know, your initial goal of 6K, 3393, you are 2,607 away from that.
Mm-hmm.
So 2,607 divided by, what did I say your average order was?
339.
That means you need basically 7 orders. With your closing ratio, that means you need 10 demos to hit that number. Now here's what I'm looking at here. So we've got 1 this morning, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's in the bag. Okay. 6K is in the bag. If you didn't know, it's like, I'm just going to relax for like, you're making $1,000 in your first 10 days. Like, by the way, when you hit 6K, you made $1,000. And it's not even your first 10 days. That's your first 7 days because you started on, you know, Friday morning. Yeah. Right. And so you made, you know, it's in the bag. And by the way, I really want to recognize you for consistently making calls in between your appointments.
I feel so annoying. I feel
you
so
did
annoying.
Fantastic. That right there, like that got me so pumped when you were doing that. You just want to keep doing that. Like whoever makes the most calls always book the most demos. And that was phenomenal. So I really want to recognize you for doing that because that is going to go a long way. And you just want to keep doing that, right? But you have 17 demos already ahead of you, which is—
I have 3 or 4 people that like weren't home yesterday.
Yeah,
and so they asked me to call them back because they were going to take a look at their schedule.
For sure. And your ratios, by the way, are pretty good too. You know, you can look at your overall ratio in Q. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pull it up here for you so we can see your phone jams, see phoning history. So your ratio right now, you're basically, so you, on the 35 people you've reached, you've booked 30 of them. So you have a really high, conversion ratio. And then also your reach percentage is really good. Your reach percentage is almost 2 to 1 right now. So it means for every 2 calls you make, you're booking 1. That's really, really good. So ultimately, in order to do 10K in your fast start, it takes about 50 presentations. Okay. And right now, you know, with everything set right now, you basically have done, you got 30 in the bag right now. Okay. You've done 14, you got 17 on the books. You got 30 right now. Now you could have some reschedules and cancellations. That's normal. That's part of it. But you want to basically add another 20. Now the cool thing is, and what you want to do is you want to copy this whole page and then just paste it down below, or you can paste it to the right with the new dates beyond Thursday.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So I'll have you do that later, but ultimately you want to try to add 20 more demos for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. right? Those remaining 4 days of your fast start. So that's basically like 4 or 5 a day for those 4 days. And you could probably squeeze like 1 or 2 more in here too. Definitely,
Yeah,
you
in the
have
morning.
still a lot on Thursday. You could probably squeeze in too, right?
For sure.
Now, to kind of bring all this home, when people go after a big goal, it's really like a mental thing, and you really have to, it's really about a commitment thing. When people say at the beginning of the season they want to win state, it's like you got to commit and you got to be all in on it. And I want to share with you just a couple of reasons why you want to think, why you want to consider committing to a bigger goal. Okay. Again, I think 6K is in the bag. If you just threw in the towel right now, you're going to hit that no matter what. But I think right now you're pacing to do closer to 15,000 for your first 10 days. And that might scare you, but the reality is you're only going to get better. You did this and you haven't even done advanced training yet. You really didn't even know what you're doing. You're just playing videos and like.
No, listen, I really thought for like a really long time, and I still do that. Like I'm like not doing something right, or like I'm like losing money for you guys, or like something like that. Like, I don't understand.
My first weekend, it took me like an hour to roll a spatula spreader. And I called my parents like 4 times. Like seriously. And so like that's normal. Like but the point is you're gonna get better and better and better as the week goes on. Once you, especially being on Champs Clubs these mornings, advanced training, like and talking to me, by the way, I'm going to coach you. Like I was AWOL this weekend because I was in a 3-day conference. Mm-hmm. So like you basically got no assistance from me. You were talking to Zach, who's like brand new being an AM, didn't know what he's talking about, for the most part. He's good, but like he's brand new. And so speaking of the devil, we were just talking about you, Zach. We love you.
What did I do?
Nothing. You didn't do anything. We were just saying thanks a lot for helping Sammy close her deals this weekend.
Did I really?
Yeah, I have no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, she didn't know what she was doing. Good job.
That was new sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Tiger. Get out of here. All right, we're gonna move Zach into a different breakout, me and Sammy, because we're wrapping up our PC. But Ellie will be hopping on any second to kick off Champs Club this morning, okay? So I'm just gonna move into a different room here. So give me 1 second to get this up. How do I do this? Breakout rooms. There we go. All right, so I am going to join and I'm going to assign Sammy. There we go. Assign to breakout room 1. All right, and Sammy, go ahead and go to breakout room 1 and I'm going to join you there.
Yeah, what up, Big Dick Sean? Why are we recording this?
Good morning.
Good morning. You look like you just woke up.
Well, I did kind of. I don't know. Like 20 minutes ago.
I just woke up.
Like you just.
Look at my hair.
How's it going, Shatoya? Hey, Jacob. Where's Sean?
I don't know.
I like that eagle.
Why are we recording this?
Why not?
I said some cuss words at the beginning.
Oh. I don't think it's us that's recording. I think Buddy's recording in a breakout room.
Okay. What are we talking about today?
We're talking about a wish list. I don't like that these glasses are super reflective.
I think it's kind of dope.
I regret everything.
Did you see my white wall? I just did it this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Wha- Oh man. We're gonna wait like 2 more minutes for anyone else to get on, and then we'll go ahead and just start.
5 people in Champs Club. What the fuck is happening? Piss me off.
I know, we've been having good shows recently. I like
No. Oh, there's Sean.
There's Sean.
Sean, I have a question.
Yeah,
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
just for this meeting, yeah. It's right next to
No,
my
I
bed.
liked it with one side up.
I wake up, I put the shirt on, and then I roll over my bed and I turn my laptop on.
It's funny.
Commitment. I love it, Sean. Okay, awesome. We'll wait 1 more minute.
Oh, I wish I could do that.
Feels so good.
I can't.
Hi, CJ.
So am I kicking Paige's butt like big time? What is she
little
at
bit.
for sales?
She's been doing like around 500 a week recently,
Oh.
just because she's busy like with her branch, because she's branching this summer, so she's been doing a lot of preparation for that.
CJ, are you gonna beat Ellie?
Probably not.
Why would you say that? Anything's possible, CJ.
Yeah. Hasn't been very good this past 2 weeks, so I don't think so.
Okay.
What is Ellie at for sales this week?
I don't know. I'll check on it after. Hi, Kendall.
What's up?
How you doing?
Shut up our meeting.
Hi, Zeta.
Hey.
Okay. What?
No, that was just singing.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. Everyone take out your notes if you have any. If you guys take notes during this, go ahead and actually take out notes either way, because I want you guys to write a lot of this down. But we're gonna be talking about the wish list. So how many people feel like they are pretty good at the wish list? They feel like they like customize a lot and do stuff like that. I know Kendall does for sure. Yeah, Zach. Okay, cool. A lot of you guys are newer, so it's not something that we've worked on that much. So we're going to really go after it, because wish list is something that Kendall can tell you will make you a lot of money. And the nice thing about it is that it'll make you a lot with either if they're a Cutco owner or if they're not. So this helps you hit like pretty much every box, so that every person you see are selling pretty big. So you can get your closing ratio up and you can get your altogether sales numbers up. So I want you guys to write down, number 1, confidence. Just write down the word confidence. This is one of just the main things that Cutco reps kind of can fail on when it comes to the wish list, is they're just not confident that Mrs. Jones is going to buy. Once you get to that point, Mrs. Jones has said no a lot of times. You've gone through all the sets, you've kind of dropped down to a point that she said no like 5 to 10 times by now. So you guys are going to be feeling like kind of like, oh, she's not going to buy. I want you guys to remember that she's never saying no to Cutco. She's never saying no to you. She's saying no to the specific choice that you're giving her. So, like for me, I've sold a lot of customized stuff because honestly, that's just what she wanted. Like the galley, she just like isn't going to use some of those knives. Same with the studio. Like the studio, she ended up buying for, I mean, Kendall can probably tell you, they'll spend way more money on customized stuff than they'll spend money on just a set that isn't what they want. So the studio, you say, oh, this is going to be X and X amount per month. Is that something you want to do today? And they say, no, that's too much money. That's not actually why. It's just because they don't want that. So just remember that when you're customizing and building a wish list and getting a lot of items that she wants specifically, and then finding a deal on that, that has so much more value to her than something that we put together that she probably doesn't use. Does that make sense to everyone? So you should have the most confidence when building the wish list because that's what she actually wants. So confidence is the number one key. The second is just getting it higher. You have to ask a lot of questions. So write down questions also. This is going to be like a million things. You're just trying to get it as big as possible. Basically, what you want to do is you want to build up the wish list so big that you basically have to drop down a million times again until you find a better deal. But this time, the drop down's fun because it's actually exactly what she wants. So she's actually deciding, oh, what of those things that I all love can I live without? Instead of, oh, I don't really like that. So yeah, no. So it's a better drop down. It's more fun. She likes it more and you'll like it more too because you can tell that she's actually liking what she's hearing. So questions, ask a million questions. Mrs. Jones, what do you typically cook for lunch? Mrs. Jones, you have kids. Do you cook them sandwiches? Like, just keep rolling things off so that you know, like, kind of what her daily cooking routine is, weekly cooking routine, monthly, because that'll come up with the daily is like, has to have it. Like the trimmer, spatula, spreader, whatever those are like, she can't live without those. Then there's the she'd like to have them, like weekly. Yeah, I kind of do that like every once in a while. It's not something that I need, but I like it a lot. And then there's the like could have it like in the range of like, yeah, I could do like that'd be nice. And that's the like maybe use like every couple of weeks, like the carving set. It's like the spare tire kind of stuff. So those things are all things that in some aspect she really likes. So when you're dropping down on it, it's not something that she's just like absolutely. Whoever has had a customer that's literally just like, I would never use any of that. Like when it comes to like the studio or the homie or something like that. Yeah. So this is where it's fun because she actually likes all of the things. But in order to get all those things on the list, you have to ask her a million questions. So for example, the spatula spreader, she wouldn't necessarily know that it's perfect for avocados. If you guys didn't know that, it's perfect because you can slice through with the knife part of it, get the pit out with the same thing, cut it up, and then scoop it with the other side. So it's the perfect avocado knife. She wouldn't know that unless you told her. Maybe she literally has avocado toast every single day. So you have to be constantly asking questions. What do you eat like in the mornings? What do you cook your kids? What do you and your husband do? All of that. And then you can build up in your own head what her wish list is because she doesn't necessarily know. If you sit there and you're like, okay, so what knives do you really use? She doesn't know the names of them. She's not really sure. She probably doesn't use the right tool for the right job at home because that's what nobody really does that unless they're like pros. So do you see what I'm saying? So you have to ask questions. You guys have to be confident and know that you guys are the knife experts. Like Mrs. Jones doesn't actually know anything. She just kind of does whatever she can. So confidence and questions are the two really big things. And then among that, with that, you want to be able to build it really, really, really big. So like I said, you can have a huge drop down. So not only through the presentation are you asking a million questions and remembering them. Do you guys all, whenever you're doing presentations, do you have like a notepad or something by you? Yeah? Okay, good. So throughout the presentation, as she's watching videos, ask questions throughout the videos too. Miss Jones, do you ever do this? Like Mrs. Jones, do you make sandwiches for your kids? Be constantly asking questions. Whenever she answers at least somewhat positive with those, you want to write down what that knife is and write down what she uses it for. So for the trimmer, when she's like, oh my gosh, I always smash tomatoes, write down trimmer, tomato knife, because she's not going to know what the trimmer is. You want to make each knife for her. So, oh yeah, remember that tomato knife? That's something that you'd use every day, right? You cook salads a lot, you said? Or the butcher knife. Butcher knives, like people in their mind kind of think butcher knives are cleavers. I've noticed whenever they ask me if I have a butcher knife, they like think they're talking about a cleaver. They're not. So like the butcher knife, you could always say like, that's your rib knife. If they like barbecue a lot, you could say that's your watermelon knife, Mrs. Jones, the summer's coming up. So you don't necessarily need to call them by their names. Call them by whatever Mrs. Jones would use them for. That's another big one. And then it adds ownership to her. So you're asking questions throughout the whole demo. So by the time you get to the wish list, you should have a solid list of anywhere from 3 to 10 knives already. or other things. If she cooks pizza all the time, pizza cutter you could throw on there. So you should have a list of 3 to 10 things or more already that you and her have chatted about just throughout the demo. And through that, you're building rapport too. So then you and Mrs. Jones are pretty tight and you have that. And then once you get to the wish list, you can ask even more questions and build that even more. So does everyone see how by the end of starting to close on the wish list, you should have anywhere from like 10 to 20 things on there, if not more. Kendall will build his wish lists up to like 30 or more. He'll just build them huge because by that point, then you can drop down. If she ends up getting one piece, do you think that if you drop down through all the sets and then started at a 25 custom set and dropped all the way down to one knife, do you think she'd get at least that one knife? Yeah. So your guys' closing ratio is going to skyrocket because there's no way that Mrs. Jones is leaving with nothing. If you start her off with 20 things that she loves, because by the time she gets at the beginning with one knife, she may be like $100 for a knife. I don't think I want to do that. But when she gets down to it, after all the things that she loves, she's like, oh my gosh, I really want to do more, but I want to scrape for at least this. And then the rest I can at least do later or something like that. And by the way, if she does get one knife, she will do the rest later. So you guys don't have to worry about that. Like I don't think I've ever had a customer buy a knife and use it and not buy something a couple months later. Almost all my customers have bought at least twice. So those are the main things. We're going to kind of practice a little bit. So can everyone pull out either their price list or just like pull it up on your computer, their price list or their like list of knives and items. And then we're going to kind of practice a little bit. I think there's like a setting to do a whiteboard on here, but if not, I'll just use my notebook.
Yeah, so just hit share screen and you should see whiteboard.
Oh, sweet. Thank you. Okay, awesome. Who's sharing right now?
I'd switch to Is that not you?
No. Zach, is that you? Okay.
I drew a boat.
Oh my gosh, I know it's freaking Zach.
I'd switch to text, just so you know.
Yeah, thank you. I was about to do that. Okay, so let's say we're on wish list. All right. So right now, I'm just going to pretend I already have a list of about 5 for Mrs. Jones that she already told me she'd use. So she likes the trimmer. She told me that she cooks sandwiches for her kids. So the spatula. Wait, what am I doing?
Veggie knife.
I know. She told me that she barbecues. And then she told me that she chops up. She likes santokus and she chops a lot. Okay, so say I have this list of 5, which by the way, you guys can see here, like it's around 4 or 5 knives. It's what would be in a set, but we don't have a set like this. It just has a couple like normal utility knives and then a carving set. Because usually you drop down different, like people don't use a carving set unless they use a lot of other knives, but maybe this Mrs. Jones does. So I already have a list of about 4 and I just kind of take her through it. So, okay, Ms. Jones, we can actually customize a set for you and I can see if I can find you a really good deal. So let's go ahead and make a wish list of all the tools that you think that you'd use. I'll also save this in my notes, by the way, so that in the future, because how many people, raise your hand if you've heard, oh, I just want to get it later, now's not a good time. Especially right now, everyone's like, oh, I can't, quarantine, I lost my job, whatever it is. So you're going to hear that basically every single demo. So whenever she says, so then she's like excited because you're like, also I'll save this in my notes so the next time when you do want to purchase later, I have all the things that you like in here. So let's go ahead and make a list of all the things that you like, love, or like have to have. So right now I have the trimmer, since you said you always smash tomatoes. So I have your tomato knife, that spatula sandwich knife that you said, since you cook sandwiches for your kids all the time, that big carving set since you and your husband love barbecue, and then that 7-inch Santoku chopper that you really like, so that you can chop up and dice all of your foods for your stews that you make. So, Mrs. Jones, out of all the knives that you saw and all the little gadgets and everything, is there anything else that stood out to you in the videos? And at this point, if you're saying like, this is the list that I'm going to keep forever so that you always know what you liked, she'll pretty much go at it. If you're like telling her like, this is for the future. So so you guys go ahead and rattle off other things that you think Mrs. Jones would like. So you guys be Mrs. Jones. Tell me a couple more. Don't forget to unmute yourself if you do talk.
A cheese knife.
Perfect. Cheese knife.
I think she likes it. So in the carving set, the petite carver already comes in there, right?
The petite, no. So the carving set's the big carving set. So the petite carver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vegetable knife. I like transporting my vegetables with a knife.
Okay, what else?
Wow, I really like that bird's peak paring knife.
Okay.
I like working with big stuff. Let's do the cleaver too.
Okay. What else?
Yeah, I like the cleaver, but I really like the heavy duty utility knife. That way, in case I need to stab someone, I can.
Are you talking about the butcher knife?
No, you know the heavy duty utility knife. No.
Great, what else? What are you talking about, Zach?
Come on, you know it.
I don't know what you're talking
It's the thickest knife we have. It's my favorite for stabbing with that
about. Oh, the
long,
Hardy slicer?
the double D edge for stabbing and slicing large meats like
That wouldn't even be
pepperoni.
good at stabbing someone anyway.
Zach, what is your obsession with killing and stabbing people? I just need to know.
Well, why else are we selling knives?
A lot of other reasons. Anyway, okay, what else?
I like, which one are the steak knives again? Are those the big ones or the little ones?
The big ones.
I like the steak knives,
Okay.
but I don't really want that many. I think I just need like 2.
Okay. We typically recommend 2 per person in the household. That way, if one's in the dishwasher, you have the other.
Okay, yeah, we'll do 4 then.
Okay, awesome. Let's say 4. Okay, what else?
What about that garden tool set? I get a free bag?
Mm-hmm.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Do you garden a lot?
Yeah, I love gardening.
Great. One of the nice things about this is that, you know how if you leave your gardening set out and it rains or something like that, you forget it, it's a really big hassle and it gets rusty and things like that. This one's virtually indestructible. So you can even leave it out in the rain all year and it'd be totally fine. So it's really
No
nice.
way.
Yeah, way.
Well, that one's a definitely. I'll definitely get
Okay.
the garden tool.
Okay, awesome. What else?
I don't really like anything else. I just don't see myself using anything else.
Okay. Well, let's kind of go through really quick just to give me an idea to make sure that we have everything. So I know that you said you cook sandwiches a lot for your kids. You cook yourself salads a lot. What are other things that you really like to cook pretty often? Do you do pasta? Are you an Italian family? Are you a Mexican family when it comes to cooking?
I would say more American or Italian. We love pasta because we have a couple vegetarians in our family.
Okay, gotcha. So that's perfect that you have that veggie knife. If you do have a couple vegetarians, you're probably doing a lot of chopping and everything like that. Would you say that you cook up like soups and vegetarian chilies and stuff like that a lot?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, if that's the case, you may want to do even an extra little chopper. We actually have a petite version of that Santoku that's only 5 inches. It's really small. And that's perfect for like chopping up little things for even an omelet in the morning. Do you feel like that's something you would use?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go ahead and put that on there. And
I have a question, Ellie.
Yeah.
Have you ever sold a bird peak paring knife?
Yeah, actually. But this person like specifically wanted it. They like saw it on the page and they were like, oh my gosh, you guys have a bird speak? And I was like, Yeah.
Yo, the bird's beak is one of the easiest knives to sell.
How?
Because all you do is you tell them, hey, Mrs. Jones, you know how when you're coring an apple or taking anything, like if you're taking the peel off of an apple, trying to open up a avocado, whatever it may be, if you ever like don't want to dull your paring knife, this is the perfect cutting board paring knife because all you do is use the tip and you just drag. So it doesn't dull because you're only dragging the tip. So it's great for cutting apples, coring apples, taking the skin off of anything from potatoes. I personally love it on potatoes just because you can sit there and you take the curved edge and just run it along the skin and it literally just falls off.
Do you have a bird's beak paring knife?
One of the greatest knives that we have. It's one of the best kept secrets.
What is the least common selling knife?
The one that you don't sell, I don't know.
No, I'm
Yeah,
just saying
I
in
don't know
general.
if
Like,
any of them.
There's no such thing.
Well, there's got to be one knife that no one buys.
I don't think so. If it has, like, they take it off if it's, like, not selling. So all of them sell a lot. And then along with that, let's get back to kind of rolling. Mrs. Jones, you said you do a lot of kind of American cooking. So you guys like grilling and everything, I'm guessing. So we
Yeah,
actually
we
do
grill.
have a barbecue set, and it's the same thing as the gardening set. It's pretty much indestructible. And it has really long handles too, so you're not burning yourself on that grill. Is that something you'd like to add on?
No, we have a bunch of those. I just don't think we'd use it.
Okay. Well, with yours, I will say, just so you know, like I said, this one is pretty much indestructible, and it also is forever